Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to What Was I Thinking? This is a show that delves into your dating disasters and discusses dating politics. And today I'm joined, as always, with my sister from another mister, the one, the only Aideen McQueen. Hello, Aideen.
Hello, Charlie. I am really good because I'm really looking forward to this show where we talk about creepy women, one of my favorite subjects.
And we have joining us today the wonderful Eddie Malarkey. How's it going, Eddie?
It's great. I'm really happy to be here as a creepy man to give a balanced, objective opinion on what a creepy woman is. And yeah, delighted to be here.
Absolutely. So as Aideen suggested, coronavirus has been a difficult time, but it's brought up a lot of big philosophical questions. And one of those big questions that we're going to attempt to answer today on our show is, can women be creepy? So I'm going to start with you.
I think Charlie, you're already telling us with your actions, the way you're speaking is kind of you're giving it away too much. The answer.
Oh, really?
I'm not wearing clothes, but I am. I just have a very light colored top on, guys. Okay, yes. Don't be thinking, what the fuck is she doing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can women be creepy? So I'm going to suggest that people are listening on Facebook or listening on YouTube are going to type in, maybe you're a woman and maybe you've been creepy before. Maybe you're a man and you've been creepy. We've already got a comment here from Scarlett saying, love a creepy woman. It's really, that feminism has done its work when women are allowed to be creepy.
Yes, you could argue. I think so.
How do you feel about this, Aideen? Have you ever been called creepy?
Okay, it's very hard. I think it's very hard for a woman to be creepy. And the thing about men is men are born creepy and then they just have to uncreep themselves out of the womb. I mean, when you look at, I remember recently just before COVID, I was in a restaurant and there was this guy there. He was really creepy. He was just creeping me out. And I just got this horrible feeling about him. And then I realized that all he did was he was wearing a sleeveless leather jacket. And that just made him like a super creep. And I could do anything and I would barely be creepy. Like, I remember once I was on a bus and I was really hungover and there was this young guy beside me, like not a Operation U-Tree young, but kind of young enough. He had about 5 haircuts on his head. So that kind of age group. And I was just trying to reach into my wallet, into my bag. So I put my hand down and I was reaching around to try and get my phone and I couldn't find it. So then I just kind of did it again. And suddenly my bag moved and I realized, oh shit, I hadn't grabbed my bag. I grabbed his knee. And so I looked at him to apologize, but I was so hungover. Instead of saying, I'm really sorry, I just went, thank you. So I just thanked him for allowing him to grope me. And that's pretty creepy. But it's still, he's probably not going to ring the police about it unless it's to show off. But I did do one, this is a bit bad now. I did one creepy thing that I'm not proud of. And I was very, very drunk. And as I was drunk, this a few years ago, I decided I was going to get chips. And I went to the local Indian restaurant. And I was in a bad mood. I just broken up with my boyfriend. And I went into the restaurant. And the man was like, I won't say good looking, but I will just say he was a man. And I went in and I said, can I get a bag of chips? And he said, we're closed. And then I just turned around and I leaned against the table and I stuck my arse out and I said, can you fuck me? Right? And he was like, no, I am married, I have children, I don't want to fuck you, but I'm flattered, but let's sit down, you can have your chips with me, you can come into my kitchen. And I was like, no, I just want to fuck, that's all. And he was so kind. He was like, look, we can talk about this, come into my room. So I went into the kitchen, his lovely family kitchen with his beautiful pictures, and he sat me down and tried to sober me up, and I was just like, I don't care, I'm gonna forget about this tomorrow unless you fuck me. And I was just so horrible and so aggressive to him. And then I just left.
Okay. I think we have our answer, AD. We have our answer, women. Really, what I was expecting, I wasn't expecting that. Eddie, are you? Do you think women can be creepy? regardless of what you've heard.
Yeah, and there's like the creepy scale on either gender. 18, I didn't know the scale went that far. Thank you for enlightening. I thought we were talking about like the micro behaviors here, but that's great. I enjoyed that. Yeah, women, I've had my fair share. Like obviously there's different standards of behavior. Like if like sometimes I don't do it now, but if on public transport, if I stared at a woman, she'd be rightfully creeped out. But if a public transport, a woman stared at me, I'd be turned on. So there's different, just in terms of what is creepy. For me, a woman being creepy is like generally the first date I went on with one girl, she looked into my eyes and said, "You have the kindest eyes." And then she started to hold my hand on the first date. And I was like, this is the creepiest lady in the world. Her emotional needs made me feel ill in my stomach. Like it's one thing having a man follow you down a dark alleyway, but a woman's emotional needs following you down any alleyway is a bigger burden.
Marcus says confession, maybe good.
I mean,
the Queen. And I think you nailed it there. My Catholic guilt. That was the first time I've ever told anyone that story. It's so shameful. So I've saved it for the large audience that we have. Thanks for letting me do that.
Eddie, I think you bring on an excellent point there about like emotional creepiness. Like I was talking to someone earlier about this, and it's like the what are you thinking? Like imagine like going on a first date with a guy and just being like, what are you thinking? And that's the equivalent like of like a man saying to a woman like, what underwear are you wearing?
Yeah. It's so true. Because men aren't frightened of physical intimacy. Like a pinch in the arse does nothing for them. But that emotional intimacy is terrible. So like men like to cop a feel, and that's terrifying for women. We like to cop a feeling. We want to get some kind of intimacy. Like if I was to say to you, Eddie, on a first date, oh my God, our kids would be so gorgeous. How would you feel about that?
Well, that's a tough one, Aideen. I'd be creeped out but turned on at the same time,
Okay, what if I turned around really drunk with like ketchup on my face, like, I want you to fuck me?
Yeah, no, that kills any. It all depends. Delivery and context are important as well. Greasy chips don't help.
No, it was the worst. I was at my worst.
And that's interesting because Aideen, you acted like a creep there, let's be honest, but have you ever been accused of being creepy? Like you self-diagnosed there. But I think men live a life where they've been called creepy, and I've only been called creepy once, and it hurt me to the bone. Like I was like, ow, and then I realized, oh, men have to live a life where they're called that. It's not a phrase aimed at women. Have you ever been called it?
Yes. Well, this happened. The other creepy thing I did was I organized a school tour to go to the Royal Albert the concert hall, and we had to. All the kids in the choir had to wear black. So I got a letter saying you have to wear black tights, black trousers, black hijab if worn, and black t-shirt, black jumper, and then I said. But when I was telling the children, I said, and you have to wear black pants. Because in Ireland, what do pants mean, Eddie?
Under.
No, it's more trousers, isn't it?
You caught me off guard there.
Wrong, but
You're from Kilkenny.
Pants in Ireland is your trousers. But in England, a pair of pants is your underwear. So I was like telling the kids, and you have to wear black pants. And they were like, these year 3 were like, what, black pants? I'm like, yes, especially black pants. You definitely have to wear black pants. It's really important that you wear black pants. And they were sniggering and laughing, and some of the girls were really upset. So I basically told these 9-year-olds that they had to wear sexy little black lingerie, like for their stupid choir trip. And they went home to their parents and said this. So cultural communication breakdown there. Yeah, the principal kind of said to me, it's not appropriate language. That's the closest I've had to being called creepy, but I do self-diagnose a lot. What about you, Charlie?
I was called creepy once because I met a guy at a festival and I found out his name and his occupation, and then I found him on LinkedIn, and I was telling my that's normal. That's very normal. And I was telling my friend Ross about this, and he was like, "That's creepy, Charlie," and that it hurt to be called creepy,
Aww.
man.
I think that's quite nice what you did there. I mean, coming from a super creep like me, I think that's a very micro creepy thing to do. Is find somebody on LinkedIn. You never know. You might want to get a solicitor someday or something. I don't know. I think the thing about creepiness is that women are so rarely called creepy, but we're so often called crazy. Like, a man can go out, right, drink like 17 pints of Guinness, stand on the bar, start shouting up the IRA, piss onto all the drinks cabinet, right? The next day,
who do you hang out with, Heidi?
You're
what
a legend!
You go to?
You're an absolute legend. He goes back to his job as a vice principal in a secondary school. Eddie, this is your friend.
Okay, great.
But then a girl just has to send 2 text messages in a row, and she's considered a crazy bitch. That's it,
That's true.
Yeah.
She just asked one guy on the tube what he's feeling, what he's thinking.
Yeah. Copying the feeling. That's all we do. Yeah, but there is that double standard of what a woman can do and what a man can do. Like, definitely, if a man had done what I'd done to a woman in a chip shop, the guards would be called. But instead, for me, I was brought in, and he had a gentle intervention with me about my life choices.
Yeah, I had a strange experience once, like your chip shop one, and but I was the Indian man behind the counter this time. So I was in college, and this girl was kissing a pretty lady, and it got late at night, and I had work. I wasn't mad into it. I was like, "Look, I'm going to bed. I have work," and she's like, "Maybe I can stay tonight," and I said, "No, bye." And I went to bed alone. And then I woke up in the morning, and this girl was there beside me in bed.
What?
Giving me a hand job. Yeah.
Fuck off.
I shit you not. And also going mad at it. Like, she was going, I was like, "Whoa, what are you doing? Relax, stop. Relax your wrist first. There's a method to this. But is it creepy that I want to straighten those pictures behind you? Yes, Colin. But what could I have done in that situation? As you said, there's a different. I mean, obviously, men can be creepy in their own way, but I couldn't go to the Gardaí, the Irish police, 8 years ago, and told them, I got a hand job in my sleep. Good man, fair play to you. She's a catch. Marry that woman. Get her a ring. Go on.
Listen, can I just get this straight, Eddie? This woman broke into your house.
No, she didn't break back in. She was already, there was a house party. Sorry, we were at a house party. Oh yeah, that's a crucial point of the story, Charlie. Yes, that's true. We were having a little house party, college house party. So she was just downstairs. She didn't
she was downstairs. She propositioned you. You said no, and yet you woke up to getting a vigorous hand job from her.
Yeah.
You were assaulted.
And Aideen is
laughing.
I know.
And you were, in a way, you were. But we just, you're right. But who do you go to? Who's going to take you seriously? Not Aideen, clearly.
Well, listen, Eddie, I'm really sorry. It was 8 years ago. I was just getting into the swing of things. Come on now. We didn't know you as well. I just have the same respect that I have for you as a performer.
We've both come a long way.
Yeah, we've both come a long way.
So keep on your comments coming in, people. I really want to hear from women that have been considered creepy. What do you think a woman can do to be called creepy? And any more stories. As you send those in, I'm just also going to tell you what's coming up later in the show, which is we are going to phone a male prostitute and just talk about that and see if we can be creepy as a woman to a male prostitute. And also we're going to be reading out some of your problem pages.
Yay. So what is the creepiest thing you've heard of a woman doing? Like,
myself.
Spiking drinks is a very creepy thing for a man to do.
Yeah, well, I used to work at a shop called Joy in Clapham Junction, which is a place devoid of joy, and probably the worst job I've ever had. My role was called style advisor, And essentially that is not, I was not a style advisor, I was shop floor. But I worked with a girl there who had a real glint in her eye and a lovely laugh. And she told me that she was really into this guy. And she kind of really wanted him to be sort of fall in love with her. So she put a bit of MDMA in his drink without him knowing. And then he went out, and then apparently he was texting her saying, I love you, and all these kind of things. And she kind of told this story as if a tip from the top girlfriend kind of thing. And actually what she was describing was the illegal drugging of a person.
Wow.
Girl power. Yeah.
Amazing. Girl power.
I mean,
it's like a race to the bottom, really, because that's what I'm interested in. There won't be equality until I can be as low and as shitty as a man quite freely. That's an amazing story. I think
what was amazing about it wasn't the fact was not just the fact that she did it, but the ease in which she told the story.
Yeah. I mean, because I don't know my story, but I have a lot of shame about it, and I owe that man an amend on Layham Court Road. If you're out there listening, I'm really sorry. Eddie, sorry I interrupted you there.
Well, there's an amazing amount of delusion to this lady who, because she was delighted that she got him to say "I love you" under the influence of drugs that she gave him. But my girlfriend has a great phrase, proof of love. So like she always gets to know, like she wants me to get. Oh, she's watching actually. She always, when I get her flowers, the point of the flowers is not. At first, I didn't realize. I was like, could I just get your plastic flowers and we'll put them in the kitchen and I won't have to keep getting you flowers. She was like, no, it's not. Because I can spend the money on a Netflix subscription and we could watch movies rather than look at roses. It's a much more economic option. But she insists that I get flowers, and the flowers are what she calls a proof of love, right? You have to have a proof. And so the idea is that like that's a proof. It's not just the words "I love you," because words are cheap,
Yeah.
But this woman would settle for drug-induced words "I love you." It is like the lowest proof. It is zero proof. As a love detective, she is useless.
What is love, Eddie, if it's not a drug?
Charlie.
If it's not a chemical reaction happening in your brain that makes you feel, empathy and love towards someone, what the hell is it? And
it's a bit longer term than just the ecstasy.
Going wrong.
Well, no, the chemical part has to last beyond the ecstasy 4-hour trip. Yeah. That's the where she was letting herself down.
Yeah, but it's a good start.
I mean, I've done it where I've taken drugs with people in the past and started a relationship straight away, and they've all gone brilliantly. It was a terrible idea. Baby signing Lincoln. I do research into a guy, which may sound creepy, but there are so many cheats out there. It's just savvy, surely. Yeah, I do a lot of research. When I fancy somebody, I'm straight into the Facebook. I'm into the old albums. I'm looking at the ex-girlfriend. Like, it is creepy because to get that level of knowledge 10 years ago, I would have had to broken into somebody's house and gotten all their photo albums and probably interviewed their mother. It's a bit of light online stalking still considered creepy. No, it's not, Scarlett. I feel like everyone looks everyone up on social media. I think they do. And the problem with dating and now is the most difficult thing about going on a date is when they tell you all this stuff like, oh, I went to skiing in Switzerland last year. You have to be like, oh, really? You ski? As if you haven't seen all the photos already and rated their friends and with like the suspiciously attractive female friends as well gone onto their Facebook. Yeah. That I find that's where my creepiness is quite at a high level with the online research.
Everyone's a creep in that regard. We're all
and you're almost expected to be one.
Yeah, who's going to control themselves and not look at someone's pictures on Facebook or Instagram if they like them? Who's going to do that? You'd be an idiot not to creep on them.
Yeah, you would be. Mm-hmm.
Guys, we've had a letter come in. Can I read it out?
Yes.
So we asked last week. We asked Eddie for letters for problems. And then what did we were asking for? Kind of worst dates or whatever. So we've got this in, and this is from Anne Boleyn from London. A local DJ I fancied asked me out on our first date. We went back to his, where I found out he was an ex-erotic film star in the 90s heyday in France. He then proceeded to take out the whole collection for us to curl up and watch on the sofa, back to back with him commentating to me excitedly over each scene. When we eventually had sex ourselves, she said, very, very bored she was watching this. When we eventually had sex ourselves, each time he came, wow, he came more than once, that's amazing. Each time he came, I would note the exact same face and sounds he made in the films. It felt like a strange deja vu. And that's from Anne Boleyn.
Wow.
Wow.
There's so many questions there. That is amazing.
90. I didn't know porn had a 90s heyday in France. That's news to me. That'll be my Google searching tonight. The 90s heyday porn industry of France. But what an amazing story!
Subsidized by their very, very socialist government.
Yeah, and I also didn't realize Tudors were still around in the 90s either.
But Henry VIII, in fairness to him, great legs. That's why he always wore those leggings. I know he was a bit fat, but he had very stout, strong legs. Like, you can imagine he'd have a lot of kind of a fulcrum when he's having sex with you. Actually,
who are we talking about?
Anne Boleyn was the name she gave. But what I find fascinating is how come everybody who's ever done porn is a porn star. Like, you go straight from nothing to being a star. I prefer to call them porn actors. I think it's more accurate. And it's just a weird one, isn't it? And I mean, it's awkward enough because I have a much older boyfriend, and I find it really awkward when he shows me photos of himself when he was young. Because what am I meant to say? Like, oh, you look great when you were 23. Pity I didn't meet you when I was 9. It's cringe. So can you imagine how cringe it was for that girl to watch pictures of him 20 years ago having sex? She was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't appear there when I was like 12. It couldn't be more awkward. That is creepy.
Maybe he had to show the film to get himself in the mood. Some people are really into themselves.
Yeah.
Wow. It also begs the question that, let's say if you're going out with a famous actor, because he showed all these porn movies, and then she remembered his ejaculation face, right, and sound, and then that replayed in her head. So what if you went out with Leonardo DiCaprio and he's upset one day, and he's telling you this thing, and he's like he's doing his upset thing because he's upset, and you're like, oh, that's like that scene in Titanic.
Oh, yeah.
All you can think about is his different movies and scenes that he's done every time he does an emotion, because that's what he's famous. That's all you're going to think about. So I mean, you can't really blame the porn star for this situation as well. Really, she has a choice to try and see him for who he is in the moment, or see him for who he was in the movie.
Well, Anne Boleyn, if you're listening, do get in touch and tell us how the second rendezvous was, if indeed there was one. What's going to happen now is I'm going to share my screen with the viewers and just let us know if this is working well enough. And what we're going to do is we're going to get ready to call up a prostitute. Now this was an idea me and Aideen had a while ago. We actually did this in our spare time. Was it like last February? This is what happens when you don't drink and you're looking to have a good time. We phoned up a male prostitute, and we were thinking, what would a woman, what's different about a woman phoning a man than a man phoning a woman? And we came to the conclusion that a lot of women might want to kind of hire a very good-looking man to sort of use as a trophy, and we'll get to that a bit later. But let me just get up the screen, and we'll kind of tell you what we're doing.
I was surprised by the amount of male prostitutes there are. Lads, you need to Google this.
Right. Okay, so we are. Can you see my screen?
No, not yet.
No. Okay.
But yes. Here it's coming up. Yay. Okay, great.
Yay. Okay. Don't worry. This is just my home page. and so it's already on there. And we have. Oh no, this is about applying.
Oh, become a male escort. Oh, that's.
Go to,
Oh, Eddie, there you go. That's
Yeah. I lost all my work with COVID. I wonder, is it a booming time
I
to?
know.
By the way, Eddie, congratulations on being in the Irish Times.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, talking about love. During lockdown, I realized. So it was in this article in the Irish Times. If anyone reads it, and it's all about love and stuff. My piece was so off tone. There was so much like heartbreak about love and lockdown. All these pieces were real mad, dramatic stories. Then I was like, we're making vegan brownies because we're bored.
No, I love the way there's just this guy Scott. He's really just some of the mates with your dad. Like I don't really see.
I know.
Isn't he? But I would actually go for him more because you feel like, he'd be into it.
Yeah, and you get a feeling as well, like, so he's got 0 reviews so far. Leon Farrow has 909 reviews. Now,
oh my God.
Leon's very hot, but 900 reviews, unfortunately, means I'd prefer someone with no reviews on an escort website than 900 reviews. It's like the inverse of Amazon shopping. You don't want. Sorry, Leon, you're hot, man, but.
What about Joe and Luke? The two of them together.
I genuinely don't find this any different to Tinder. Like, what is the difference apart from you have to pay?
Yeah.
Joe and Luke together.
Roughly.
Say again?
How much is the hourly rate on average?
About £60 an hour.
So cheap.
Jamie, very young.
Jesus, good. It's cheaper than
Angelo. Ooh, Christmas sexy Santa. Some of them, they're just really normal guys.
Yeah. So we've got.
You're probably right, Charlie. It's just guys who were on Tinder and thought, I spent so much fucking time swiping. Why not try charge for this?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, Margaret's a fan of Charlie. Charlie. Oh no.
Where is poor Charlie?
So Charlie is
Dale Bradford.
It's not Martin Luther King. It's Charlie. Who knew?
I had a dream.
And Mike Warren, by the way, who plays the clarinet which is a good thing to know about a man.
Yeah.
That's adorable. Oh my God. And he's a little bit of the more mature age group,
Does he bring the clarinet to dates? Is that a thing?
No, he could probably make 60 quid an hour teaching the clarinet. I feel I would hire him for that. Oh, well,
yeah, maybe he's
38. Yeah. Oh, he's 58.
58. Yeah, it's more he's quite your age bracket.
Yeah, he is. Actually. He's a little bit young there for me, but
the person says,
what a lovely review for him as well.
What did it say?
I was nervous when I booked Mike. However, right from the word go, he was attentive and charming. First, we went for a drink and got to know each other. The conversation was engaging and extremely interesting. We continued to talk over a delicious Indian meal, and the rest of the night was a delight. Mike clearly has no hesitation in going the extra mile. It's suspiciously good, that review. As someone that had a company that did have reviews for it, I feel like this is the sort of review that Mike Warren might have written.
Yeah.
It's just too detailed. Like everything was great. The curry, there's no hesitation. It's kind of they're using professional language. No hesitation in going the extra mile. It's like customer service language. People don't talk like that.
Far too clean for talking about sex.
Totally.
Extra mile, like.
That have no, I mean, I think if I got a male prostitute, it would be quite a shameful thing. It would be up there with my trying to make the man have sex with me in the chip shop.
I disagree. Have you ever been for a massage and paid someone to touch you?
Yes, I have.
It's just that, but going the extra mile.
I suppose a full body massage, you have to massage in between the legs as well. You're right. I just need to open my mind and my legs will follow.
We're gonna get some images up on the screen now, hopefully, of some
Is that a UK website, Charlie? Is that a UK escorts? I checked because I knew this was coming up, so I checked on the Irish escorts.
Oh yeah,
and the UK ones are way better looking than the Irish escorts.
Wow,
so much better. Mike with the clarinet. I mean, I just was looking at it, and there's like a bunch of North Dubs like taking a selfie with their tattoo running down. I was like, wow, I can't do this. Whereas that's like, that website's classy. That's like, you could take those to your wedding or whatever, the thing, Aideen, you wanted to bring. You know,
this is a very good point from Austin, by the way. That review for that guy, the guy that went the extra mile with the clarinet, by the date of review, he definitely broke lockdown, especially if they were going the extra mile. You don't want to be going the extra mile with coronavirus, for sure.
Yes. Oh my God.
Okay, so we got this guy Dale. We focused on this guy Dale because he looks like a friendly guy. And Aideen, you're going to give him a call.
I'm going to give Dale a call and I'm going to ask him for his services. So now
here he is, Dale Bradford. Dale Bradford conveniently is from Bradford, and here are some of his reviews. Your time with me will be a magical experience. I'm ready to give you your ultimate pleasure. He has a tan, smooth body for you to enjoy, and when we do meet in town, we can meet in the pub before we go back to my place in Bradford. So remember, 18, he lives in Bradford. It's very important that you know that.
Okay, thank you very much. Ooh, it's ringing. Hello there, is that Dale? Hi Dale, my name is Maureen, and I just wanted to know if I could use your services. Now this is a kind of an unusual request. It wouldn't be breaking COVID now or anything like that. It doesn't involve much physical intimacy. But you're a good-looking guy, I can see on the website, and I'm looking for a good-looking fella because I'm getting married in Bradford in August. Now, very small, very socially distant wedding now. And I'm just going to be honest with you, Dale. Bradford is where you are, isn't it? Or is that just your name?
No, that's me, Dale Bradford, yeah.
Great. Okay, so basically now what's happening is I'm getting married to Jeffrey. Now, Jeffrey, I'll be honest with you, my future husband, he's a nice man, but he's a bit older than me. But he has that, you know, sexy quality that older men have, you know, his own house. And basically, he's only about a 4.5 out of 10, maybe a 5 in a certain light. And I think now, in fairness to me, I could actually get an 8 or a 9. And now you're like a 9, 9.5, nearly a 10 out of 10. And I want you to come to the wedding, okay, get into a little suit. Something very nice, look very classy. Now, I hope that you won't wear a mask because I want everybody to see your face. And what I want you to do is I want you to just stare at me for the whole service, right? Stand at the back of the church and stare at Jeffrey, right? Really give him dirty looks and look at me with lust, right? I want you to act as if you're my ex-boyfriend and you're just broken-hearted that you can't get to marry me. And then now, when the vicar pronounces this man and wife, I want you to actually go, no, or something like that. I don't know what northern people say for no.
Are you for real?
I am, yeah. So you have to go no. Now, what you'll do then is I want you to be crying. Are you able to pretend to cry?
Just carry on telling me this story.
Okay. Oh, I love your accent. Very sexy. And so what you can maybe put in a bit of Vicks vapor rub into your eyes. Okay, to make yourself look like you're crying, or if you can't afford that, an onion, but I'll cover the Vicks. No bother, right? I'll get the suit for you as well. And then what you can do is, so when you see this pronounced man and wife, you just go no, and you just run angrily out of the church. Now, my sister, right, she'll be wearing a little violet little dress at the back, and she'll hand you an envelope with money. And now, so we were thinking about £100 an hour, and since you live in Bradford, that's very easy. And then maybe £200 for the outfit. So if we call it about 400, what do you think about that? I'm afraid I can't. It is. I'm sorry about that. But thanks for being a very good sport. I got dared to do that.
I'm like really. I don't crash weddings. You know what I mean?
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you about. I'll give you 20 quid for doing this. I really appreciate it. Thanks very much. Bye.
Well done, Nadine McQueen.
Well done, Nadine.
Well,
It was so nice.
listen, what did he say at the end? I couldn't hear him.
He said cash wedding. I didn't think it was real when he said cash. And I'm like, cash? The cash part was the most incredible part. Do you know what? English people don't, they're very by the book. They all pay their tax all the time. Irish people are all the cash.
Yeah. I can't believe, so are these escorts are paying taxes as well?
I'd say they do. They probably pay taxes like an entertainer or something.
And do you know what? With this COVID-19 thing, COVID-19 thing, actually, people who have paid their taxes are being rewarded now, because if you want the self-employment help, you have to kind of prove what you've paid to the government, and then it's all coming back. So the honesty is being rewarded well.
It is, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Charlie, I don't need a guilt trip on a comedy show. All right, we're not all well prepared and good.
I felt like that was an unnecessary tangent from me. I apologize.
No, I liked it though. It's true. It's nothing to do with it.
It also applauds good for Dale. He's I hope he's getting the full COVID support right now, because he clearly is by the books.
Sorry, when he said cash, when you said cash, he thought it was a prank call.
Yeah, it was the cash bit that made him think this was real.
I think it wasn't the cash as in the cash as the method of payment. I think it was 400 quid, mate. What are you doing? That's a lot of money.
Oh my God, I have so much cash.
And he lives in Bradford.
Colin said, does he bring his own card reader for the job?
He does. He's got to top that ass. He has one on his. That's what I would do if I was a stripper.
That's nice.
Yeah, you got to top that to top this. I can fuck that up a bit.
No, that was great. I can't believe you picked that up. That was amazing. Well done.
Thank you so much. Yeah. It was difficult. I was losing my bottle. I was like, I felt there.
Did you feel bad?
You held your nerve.
Yeah. But I'm glad to know it's a service that's out there. If I ever need it, Dale will be the first man I'll go to. Yeah.
Yeah. Dale Bradford.
I should, rather than become an escort, I should offer services like this, like escort actor willing to improvise act specific scenes for emotional manipulation purposes. You know,
yes,
so
please.
I don't have to sleep with the women. Or maybe that happens as well. Who knows? But more importantly, if they're getting married or they have an important function, I'll make it out as if an ex-lover is still mad for them, you know, or things like that. It's a very clever. AD, now that you've actually said it all, Anna's saying Eddie should bring a male escort too.
I think that's true. Eddie, I mean,
I'm actually using my phone to record this, unfortunately. If I wasn't, I would totally call, but this is my phone. Yeah.
Maybe another episode you could do that, Eddie.
Yeah.
I think, Eddie, I definitely considered bringing you as my friend to a gig that the man I fancied was at, because he was ignoring me. I thought you'd be a really good fake kind of he would be like, what's going on? Is she with this guy? And I would have paid you in pints. I wouldn't have paid actual money, but you would have been up there on my list.
And I'd say out loud, you've such kind eyes, AD.
Yeah, I love that. And I'd be laughing at you way more than him.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Right. Well, guys, that's our show. And I think what we're going to do now is we're going to have a vote. If you want to join in, you say, what do you think after the end of the show? Do you think women can be creepy? My vote is cast absolutely yes from the start. I realize women can be creepy. I myself need to come out as not a creep in a sexual way, but an emotional creep, because I ask men what they're thinking. I go up to people and ask them questions about their soul before I know their name. And I try to get into people's heads in the same way men try to get into my pants. So I am coming out now as an emotional creep. What do you think, Eddie? Do you think women can be creepy? Cast your vote now.
Yes, but I thought you were going to ask, do you think I can be creepy? Like as in Charlie, you went straight in.
Oh, yeah, no, actually, I've been meaning to ask you that. So, Eddie, you've met me twice. That's quite a good level. I'd like to know, I know what I am, but give me 10 being the creepiest woman you've ever met, 0 being the least creepy woman you've ever met. Where do I stand on the scale?
I give you 6.
Wow.
So is that high? I mean, like I'm thinking if 10 is like someone who that story I told you earlier is
I
breaking
thought
the
I'd
law.
be higher.
Whereas you thought you'd be high. Well, there you go. No, it's a
Give
healthy
me
6.
the explanation.
Also, I gotta say, as a little thing, is that being a little bit creepy as a woman, obviously not, just it's a fine line, is hot as well. You know what I mean?
He's calling me hot. Yeah,
So,
thank you.
yeah,
Eddie thinks I'm hot. Aideen, what is your verdict of the
I think
women can be creepy?
Not only am I emotionally creepy, but I clearly was physically very creepy to the poor man in the chip shop. Eddie, given that story and everything you know about me, feel free to give me a creepiness rating on the creepometer.
I'm loving this power that I've been given now that I am the judge and jury of creepiness. Okay, you both have to give me a creepy rating after this. It's only fair as well.
Sure.
Aideen, you're a 7.5.
Thank you so much. I'm so proud.
Yeah. But I think time change. You can up and down on the creepy scale. Maybe back then you were a 9. But yeah.
Oh shit, a 9 is very bad because it's probably 10 is that woman who violated you. God, I thought 7.5 was including that story. You were being kind by giving me 7.5. Eddie, I would give you 3. You're not creepy, but you don't not have a penis. Give you 3. Very
good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Eddie, I'm going to go with a 5, rising to a 7 when we see the guitar placed strategically behind you throughout the show. Has just really just pushed you up a few notches in the creep-o-meter. Just the veiled threat that any time this will turn from a normal man into a creepy song-playing creepo.
I like cars. He hates them.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm going to be ashamed of myself, but I'm going to be honest. I was one of those terrible people when I was single who abused a terrible, a vague ability to play guitar to try and increase chances with women. I was one of those guys. But fuck it, I now have a girlfriend. I still do it. But you're dead right. No, it is a bit. It's a creepy trick. Thanks, Charlie, for pointing that out. No one would have thought any different of it.
That's okay. Well, I think we're going to end it there. We've got our time. Thanks so much for being a guest, Eddie. It's been lovely to have your creepy vibes running through the show.
My pleasure.
Caught it. And Aideen, thank you so much for thank you us for hosting this show. We're going to be back next Sunday, 8 o'clock. We're here every week discussing everything dating. What will it be next week? Tune in to find out. Thanks for watching. See you at the same time next Sunday at 8 o'clock. Bye.
Bye.